Yeah, so I was saying, to get into the chat, you have to be a follower. That's just a, like a trick to get followers. So I make the chat followers only. Subs, it's probably hard to get subs because you got to pay, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's what I see.
People don't be wanting that. If you're somebody like Louis Vega, and when the pandemic happened, they were doing like thousands of viewers and stuff. Yeah. If they get 10% of the people to sub, that's not bad. Plus, once they're up at that level, then they're a partner anyway. So, the little guys, nobody's subbing to us.
Yeah.
There's a couple people that sub, but not enough to make it quit my job.
Exactly. Hey everyone, it's Alvaro. I am here with the one and only TOT, Timmy Richardson. An honor to have you here. Someone that I definitely just look up to, his history, everything that he has done in the house music aspect, not just house music, but in the whole music scene itself. Pioneer. I like to call you a pioneer, especially with the whole platform that you had for everyone to enjoy. So just an organic catch up with you. It's been years. You've been in this for many years, but take us back to a little bit of history of who you were back in the day, influences that put you on that path to music and DJing, and obviously, the big release of Deep House Page.
Well, you want to know what got me into DJ?
What got into DJ, who you aspire, where'd you go?
Well, I would say radio probably was a catalyst because when I was young, like 1977, 78, that's when they started putting DJs on the radio. Mm-hmm. And in actuality, I don't know if you remember the Disco Boogie album that came out in 1976 that Salso put out?
Yeah, yep.
The Tom Moulton mix?
Yep.
And I had never heard the music not stop. And that was a continuous, mix.
Yeah.
I listen to it now, and I'm like, it wasn't the greatest mix in the world, but considering the equipment they had back then, it was pretty good. And so then, the radio stuff started coming. Ted Courier.
Yep, Ted Courier. Yep.
Amazing DJ.
Yep.
You can catch some of his mixes on YouTube. T. Scott.
Yep.
So I used to be in my bed at night at 12 o'clock, under the sheets of my radio, listening to those guys.
Yep.
So, when my dad passed, I actually found an autobiography that I wrote where at the end of it, this is 1978, where at the end of it I said that I wanted to be a disco DJ.
Wow.
Now, I don't even know how I knew what a disco
DJ was
or anything at that point. I was like maybe 12.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to be. So the first gig I ever really had, I used to go to college in Springfield, Massachusetts. I was 16.
Were you born and raised there?
No, I was born in the Bronx.
Okay.
But I was born in Manhattan, but raised, as soon as I was born, they went to the Bronx.
I gotcha.
What did I say? Oh, yeah, so the first gig, I was 16, I was in college, and I wanted to do a party. So I rented some equipment. I don't even remember how I did this stuff. Mm-hmm. Rented some equipment. In college they'll let you do a party in the hall or whatever. Yep. And that was my first gig. So after that, that's all I really wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Buy records and I became what's the word? 12-inch fiend.
A fiend. Okay.
Yeah. So those were definitely the influences. Ted Courier and T. Scott. And then as far as going out to clubs, I started going to clubs again. First time I went to a club I was 15, which is an amazing thing that could not even happen these days. I don't think.
Yeah.
And it was back then it was called Club Magique.
Magique, okay. Do you remember where it was?
Yeah, on 61st, right by the bridge.
Okay.
It became Chippendales.
Oh, okay.
It was right next door, I think, to Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh, yeah, Dangerfield. Yeah.
And it was amazing to me. That was the first I looked out. I saw all the lights, and I think Lime was the big record back then.
Yeah, Lime.
This is like the 1980 or so.
Yeah.
So Lime was and I was just like fascinated.
Yeah.
And after that, I just
went hardcore.
Clubs. That was what New York was.
Yeah,
like you could get on the train, go to like say 34th Street, and there are clubs everywhere.
What? So as you were DJing, buying music, going to clubs, did you start gearing towards a certain sound, a certain DJ? Were you influenced by like the impact of a certain club type of music that just kept you going a little bit further?
Well, in those, like say before 1984, because also when I went to Massachusetts school, I had a radio show.
Okay.
So I was playing mostly like R&B stuff, like Michael Jackson's Thriller had just come out. Prince. I was playing mostly like pop R&B stuff.
Yeah.
And then I went to the garage one day.
Okay.
Like I don't know how we got in. Me and my friend went, and maybe because back in those days you used to go to clubs, you dressed up.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to pick up girls.
Yeah.
So maybe we looked official or something. Yeah. We wearing out, ties and
ties.
Actually, I had on velour. My boy had on a tie.
Well, that was the style too back in the day. Yeah. Shirt, tie, jeans.
Yeah. But so I had on velour, and we go in there, and
Friday night or Saturday night?
Friday night. They let us in. Because again, they're probably like, yo, these guys are here in suit and tie, just let them in.
Yeah.
And again, that first of all, Serious Intention was performing, and I believe it was Camille, sang that song "Are You For Real?"
Yeah.
And to hear everybody going, oh, because I'd never heard that record before. We're gonna hear it.
Yeah.
It was just like 2,500 people just screaming at it. It was just energy I'd never seen before.
Yeah, or felt.
Yeah, so I had the velour on, the black light went on, so now all the lint from is showing on the shirt. So, go back the next week. I think I went alone. I think my boy didn't come with me.
But hold on, before you go to the second week, what was that impression like? Hearing a sound system like that energy of people, like how would you even try to explain it to someone who has never experienced that? Because that is a pivotal point that a lot of people say it's life-changing.
It was life-changing. Because again, I was already going to clubs since I was 15.
Yep.
And now I was like 18 or going on 19. And I'd never been to a club. I've been a night. There was,
absolutely.
Underground.
Yep.
Underground was nice. They'll come to me, but the clubs were nice. Decent sizes. The garage had the crystal room.
Yep.
The main room.
The movie room.
The back lounge was as big as this diner.
Yeah.
The lounge.
Yeah, and upstairs too. The summer. Later on.
Well, that's the rooftop.
Yep.
But before you get to the rooftop, they had a movie theater.
Yeah.
In a club. I'd never seen anything like this. And I think Woody Allen, in the end, had wound up using that back room for a scene in one of his movies. But again, it was the energy. It was like I'd never seen like a floor bouncing. The floor used to bounce. And in the show, which didn't go on till like 4 in the morning. 4 in the morning is when the other clubs are closed.
Exactly. Yeah.
The show started at 4 in the morning, and so I don't know how to describe it. I just remember just the energy and the lights and the people,
the sound.
Never heard, because I didn't party in Jersey. I was from New York, so I'd never heard like
Zanzibar or anything like that.
Yeah, and again, I was going to like Roseland, Roxy, which were all bigger than the garage. But it was a different type of club, you know, and I don't remember the sound system sound the way it did at the garage, or the speakers looking like that. Maybe it did, or I didn't notice, I don't know. But you know, Roseland was there to what, like 10, 15 years ago. And so that's what it was. It was like, I'd never been anywhere where you felt like the bass
kick you right,
come out of your chest. It was like it was coming out of your chest. And, you know, then Larry. Because, you know, when I first got there, it had to be either Joey or David playing. And then Larry went on, who I knew about. You know, I seen his name, you know, on Heartbeat, and, you know, all these records and stuff. You know, I never heard somebody play a song like 8 to 10 times in one night. He was like the Frankie Crocker of clubs. And if he, you know, heard a record, he believed in it, he was just going to keep on playing it until you liked it by the end of the night. So again, that, you know, that would be unheard of in a regular club to play a record more than once, you know, let alone, you know, 8, 9, 10 times in a night. And that's what it was. It was like I had to go. So the next week I went, had my tank top, I had my
completely
bag.
Different.
I was like ready. They were like, "You have a membership?" I was like, "Membership?" I didn't know it was a membership club. They were like, "Oh, you need a membership." They wasn't trying to let me in that night. And again, I was like 18, you know, like 18, going to a club. But there was no liquor there. So, that was the other thing. They had in the lounge, bananas and fruit and water. People say that they spiked the punch and all of that. I don't remember feeling nothing. You know.
So it worked, because you don't remember anything.
I don't know. I just don't. You know, I was the biggest nerd you could possibly find back in those days. And I don't. You know, a lot of people, you know, they want to have these urban legends and stuff like that. But I think they'd have a real big problem if they were spiking the punch that anybody could. It's different if you're up in the booth. Because that was another amazing thing. They had this booth up there, and you see the people, and they had his own remote control light. The lights, you could just take over the lights anytime you wanted. So it was just like you said, it was just life changing. I went that Monday down there to the club to get the membership. Wow. And I just was almost in there every week for 3 years. That was '84. Wow. And you know, until they closed. Matter of fact, I didn't get in the last night. Wow. Which was, you know, still pisses me off. Watch somebody get killed. The person who got killed, you heard somebody got killed outside the night that they closed, the Friday night. Wow. Somebody got killed because what happened was they weren't letting anybody in anymore. And we were out there at like maybe 2 o'clock and they weren't letting anybody in. I felt like they handled that last couple of weeks wrong, because by that time they were letting anyone in. There were all these thugs and stuff like that. The club had just, you know, changed. It wasn't the same anymore. And so that night, some guy, it was, you know, crazy out there. So this guy somebody bumped into him. And he was like, "Yo, what's wrong with you?" Dude took his session. He had a shank on the end of his hand and went like that and hit him in his heart. And somebody said, "Yo, man, you bleeding." And he looked down and then he went like that. That was it. And that was our cue to go, because by that time it was like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. We were out there literally for like 3 or 4 hours. I was like, we gotta get it. How can I not get in? Last day. But it should have been like memberships only, pre-sold tickets or whatever. But by that time, Michael Brody was probably, you know, sick. He didn't care.
I know Larry was upset of the closing thing. He didn't care probably at that moment, right?
Well, I don't think that part was up to him. He was just in there playing.
Yeah.
Because that's the irony. I actually have video, that video that pops up on YouTube.
Yeah.
That was sick. That was like one of the DHP perks from.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have the. Because actually, what I'm trying to do, I think I did it with like a snippet.
Mm-hmm.
Because in that video, the audio was off about 20 seconds. So I'm able to go in and and shift the audio to make it at least appear close to what it really is.
So you recorded that night?
No. Somebody sent me the recording.
Oh, okay.
Because in those days, no one had cameras in the club.
Right.
So this guy had a what do you call it? Super 8 or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he just recorded the last I think he recorded one on August 27th, and then he did one a month later on September 20th. Somewhere, I think the last day was 27, 28.
Yeah.
I don't remember the date in August, but he did it like a month before.
Okay.
And it's an amazing. You can feel like I've shown people that video who are really, say, club goers and stuff, and they're like,
this existed.
It's like, wow, like the energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
all of that is shaping you in your own way to dive further into music, play more, go out more. Mm-hmm. So how does Deep House page? How does it get created? What's in your mind at that point?
Well,
what was your emphasis?
I didn't actually create that. I helped to get it to the point of its popularity. Is what I wound up doing. Because it was 97.
Yep.
Maybe 96, 97. Internet is new, so now naturally I'm looking for mixes.
Okay.
Looking for old school mixes, and I stumbled upon Deep House page, which started by Gerard Rose out of Wisconsin. I believe it was Madison, Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. He was a guy that collected tapes and stuff like that, and so he had that, and he had the forum. That's when it was like a tree forum back in those days.
Yeah.
And it was like maybe 50 members, and we all used to speak. And then there was another site, Underground. Remember Underground NYC?
Yeah, Underground NYC.
Yeah. Something went down with him, the guy who owned that, and me. It was very foul what he did. So what I did was hit up most of the people, because at that point he was more popular than Deep House page. Because Deep House page was more like Chicago, kind of feel to it. And so I wound up like emailing most of the people that were on his site and say, look, forget that, go over here. And then that was it. After that, we wound up at one point, we were doing around 75 to 100,000 hits a day.
Wow.
We at one point, because it was like early 2000s, so there was less, there was still millions of websites, but not like now.
Right.
And so we would be in the top 75 websites at the peak of Deep House page. And so so my name wound up being synonymous with the TOT came from.
TOT came,
That was Raven Fox. Raven
Fox. Yeah.
He was the one that gave me that moniker.
Was there confusion between you and
always?
Yeah. Timmy Richardson and Timmy Richardson.
I could tell. Yeah, I could tell you stories of. Well, this was after me and Timmy actually officially had met.
Okay.
But I was at one point getting records at the shelter. Like, they would call me up and be like, you got records here. That somebody mistakenly, they put my name, but they sent it there.
Oh, wow.
I was actually in the club one day, because people, do I look like him?
Well, when you had the dreads, right?
Maybe.
When you had the dreads, yes.
If the music is on and I'm leaving the club, how can you be saying great set
to you?
You know that great set.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like, nah. I mean, but it used to always, it still happens. Like, I remember, I think it was Ron Carroll. We were in the Winter Music Conference, and somebody was like, yo, this is Timmy. And he thought I was Timmy Richardson. And then he goes, no, I'm Richardson. And then He didn't want nothing to do with me.
Wow. So it's a blessing and a curse.
He was like, oh, okay, yeah. He was like, okay. I was like, all right, whatever. You know, but it's funny because now, anytime I speak to Timmy, he sees me, he'll go, yo, the other Timmy.
Yeah, that's good.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So knowing what you know now, right? There's always that saying, if I could only go back in time, knowing what I know now. Being that you had one of the, I guess, most looked at websites, compared to how the industry now is with everybody doing stuff in the internet and the internet getting, you know, saturated by everybody going up there and doing something. Where do you see it going? What would you do different? Is there something that has kind of come into your mind to say, wow, you know what, if I only stuck many years ago doing this, you know, I would be so much higher? Or look at how the industry of internet has changed in the years that I was doing it or viewing it or putting up my content to where we are now.
I actually think it was better back then. It was less saturated, and at the same time we still have, you know, places to showcase, you know, like SoundCloud, Mixcloud, Twitch, whatever. But there's just everybody's a DJ. You know. I don't know if I don't think I would do anything different. I think it happened the way it was supposed to happen.
Right.
Because what happened was, I think it was 2009. Gerard, the owner didn't want to really have anything to do with it anymore. I think he saw it declining because what happened, Facebook came along, and Facebook destroyed a lot of forums because, you know, you could delete stuff on Facebook. You know, the Deep House page was like everybody. You got the truth there. Yeah, you got the history. You got the truth. And you know, we weren't deleting stuff.
Well, that's the point about the page itself. It got a reputation for you speak your mind, and certain things were said there that just what it was, right?
There was a lot. It was people call it drama house page.
Okay.
You know, because it was, you know, everyday drama. Because sometimes people used to come and say things that weren't true, you know what I mean? Or try to change history around. And so many people, David Mancuso, again, because that's the amazing thing to me about all these guys that we grew up on and heard, how I wound up becoming friends with them. I mean, Francois, you know, put me down at this party at Cielo like 5, matter of fact, even at Output at like 5 different times.
Wow.
You know, you know, like Merlin Bob, that was a hero. I know him now. Louis. You know, we heard all these names, and now we're all just regular guys, really. Joey Llanos, I was doing parties with at one point. It's just amazing. I think back and I'm like, wow, you know, these guys were on the radio. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Or playing at the garage.
Yeah. Yeah. Or at their own clubs, building their own things, right? Yeah. So right now, you've been through a lot, you've seen, you've done, you've partied a lot. Where are you right now musically, and what is your overview? This is something that I think we kind of touched on our last meeting at our venues. Like, where do you see this? I got to be careful with my choice of words because I don't want to say the industry, but there's a few questions. Where do you see the term DJ from where it was back when we grew up to how it's being used so loosely that everybody is?
I feel like the professionalism is gone.
Okay.
I think that DJing should be like anything else, where you really can't even really be considered a pro at it until you've done it for like at least 5 years. Most careers or whatever you're studying takes about 5 years. to become, you know, an expert at it. But now, people just download songs. They know nothing about equipment. They know nothing about reading a room. They just want to, you know, they just want to be a DJ and they really only want to be a DJ because we have social media.
Right.
If we didn't have social media, or if people still had to lift up records and you know, stuff like that,
and the speakers,
everything, then I don't think we would have a lot less DJs. But it's social media. Social media pushes people to say, I want to be a DJ. Right. And then they get mad when they don't get gigs. You know, I'm like, well, why should you get gigs? You know, you know, you because I think like mobile parties, until you've done like weddings on a regular, or mobile parties and stuff like that, those kind of parties I think shape me into like being a better DJ, because you got to satisfy everybody with all this different kinds of music and stuff like that. So I did, you know, coming up, I was doing college parties, you know, weddings. I used to work for WBLS Music Force. What's the experience that these guys have now? Like, a lot of people are like obsessed with, oh, he's a 16-year-old DJ, he can play. And I'm like, you know, it worked. It worked for the Martinez brothers. You know, they became, you know.
So we're gonna have a little. We're gonna keep it real also on this.
They became some cool cartoon characters.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, because I agree with you on that.
And you know, maybe they could play. I don't know. I mean, I've heard. I'm not to say I never heard them. I think, you know, the first time I heard them, I think
was when they used to
Curly was a DJ. She was. They played for her. You know, and. But then they left it. Actually, that was the smartest thing they probably could have done, was leave like that house music underground scene, that New York scene, because they weren't going to make no money like they're making now in it. You know, you're lucky you get $200 in the gig, or get paid at all.
Right. So that's my next point is, why do you think that this music, this industry that we call house music and the whole umbrella is looked at as a very poor industry, right? I always see conversations about this, and to me it's almost like you have to go back to the way everything was set up, with agents, with, you know, the club owners, with even DJs wanted just to do a freebie to get the opportunity just to play. You know, a singer just saying, hey, get me on stage because I just want my song to be heard. And that to me sets up, you know, a situation where now it's almost expected that you're gonna kind of do free. The very first things that I never hear is, well, how much would you charge to come out and play? It's always come out and play with the assumption of you're gonna do it for free.
You're right. Well, it starts with people who are promoters that don't have any money. You know what I mean? You wanna get something for free, you know, and what happens is the talent, which is the DJ, isn't getting paid. You know,
or performer.
Right. You know, and that's not right, because again, you know why they're not getting paid? Because the professionalism is gone. You know, you always got paid. That's the first question. Well, how much? But you know, the overseas market was going good for a long time until people started going for free. You know, people were doing stuff with no riders. They were just like going to Japan, sleeping in people's houses. You can't do that. And it messed up the whole, you know, going
business
overseas
form.
to make money. Because that's what it comes down to. People want to say that house is peace, love, unity, and respect. No, it's always about money. And we shouldn't be. Why should we be reduced to? Because hip hop started the same time. So, as house music, so why should we be reduced to? Because them guys ain't doing nothing. Well, maybe they are. I don't know. I'm not in that scene, but I highly doubt that there's this rampant thing where you're playing in a club and you don't get any money to do it. You know what I mean? And we always made sure that people, you know, when we were doing like 626 Broadway, any of those wild pitch parties, we always made sure that everybody got paid. You know, if they didn't get paid that week, they definitely got paid the week after. You know, it might be a slow week or something, might have snowed or something. But we always made sure the sound, everybody gets paid. Now people do sound for free.
Yeah, everything for free.
They'll do sound for free so they can play 45 minutes on the boardwalk.
Right.
Why would you do that? Hurts to lift up speakers these days.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
at our age.
And if you go into the phone book, I would imagine nowadays you go into the phone book and try to rent a sound system, it's probably around $5,000. You know, and these guys are doing it for free.
Well, who's gonna pay that first of all, right?
And
because that's the other thing. Exactly. Everybody wants that break. Yo, hook me up, or you know, I'll get you, like you said, I'll get you on the bill next time, you know, or you could play if you bring this equipment up. So how do you see the change? How do you see growth in this that has been established for so many years with this mentality of
I don't see the growth. I see it slowly, you know, dying because nothing lasts. You know, nothing stays the same, like the song said.
Yeah.
You know, it's right now. Well, I don't know if you know this, but Pernell Morrison and I were the ones that started the Coney Island beach parties in '97. And you know, we built that up. We would go out there. We would get out there like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, set up the equipment, and go to like 11 o'clock at night. Now I heard it's 2 to 6.
Wow. They cut everything down.
They cut it down because people out there doing things they're not supposed to do. You know, drinking beers, barbecuing on the beach. You know what I mean? You gotta nip all that stuff in the bud right away because they don't want that out there, especially if it's you know, what's the word? Gentrification is going on out there.
Yeah.
You know, you know. But again, that's what it's coming down to. 4 hours.
Yeah.
And it's 2 to 6, the hottest time of the day.
Yeah.
People usually get there at 6. You know, you get a couple of stragglers between, you know, 3 and 6 or whatever.
Yep.
But the bulk of the crowd could stay when the sun was going down. That was the whole point of it. You know, that and to have it be, well, Pernell's dream was for the Coney Island parties to be like the Prospect Park drummers on Sundays.
Okay.
And it is. It's a staple in New York.
Everyone has pretty much gone up and done something there.
Yeah.
Right? Coney
and that's
Island.
again, it's oversaturated.
Yeah.
They got 3 parties going on
all at once.
The boardwalk at the same time.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You know. But I don't, you know, I really am not into I don't really go out there no more.
Yeah.
You know, it's too expensive to go to New York anyway. Then you can't find parking.
Yeah.
You know, I don't go out there.
So that's the other question. You know, you seem to come into maybe a period in our age, and you know, and I'm guilty as well, where we kind of choose the events that we want to go to, right? And sometimes I wonder why. Like I'm like, okay, you know, before I used to support people, but for me, I think I've gotten
I hate that word,
fatigue, right? Like in just hearing the same sound. Hearing the same DJs, knowing what they're going to play, knowing what everybody's going to play. No one's really exciting me anymore out there, right? So, do you feel the same? Is this part of your choosing to certain, you know, just to go out to certain events versus others? Is it a combination of other things?
I think it's just like you said. It's like when I went to the garage or any clubs really back then, there was something special about it, and now there's nothing special because you know you're gonna go to the club. My floor would have had 8 people. It wasn't even a main floor, you know, and you got like somebody 16 years old playing on the main floor, and I was like, nah, that's not for me. Thank you.
Right.
You know, but people don't know about opening a party.
Yep.
They don't know that there's different parts of the party.
Exactly.
So a guy will open, I think I was playing at the Warehouse once, It was like 11 o'clock. That's when they open. I go in there. The music is blaring. It's like 125 BPMs.
Right.
And you know, when he got off, I just shut it down and just, you know,
right.
Restarted. Took it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you got your heart rate at double,
yeah,
when you walk in,
where you gonna go?
What happens the rest of the night?
Exactly. Yeah.
But that's the whole thing. There's no down tempo anymore being played.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all that Afro stuff. You know, it's funny because now the hip hop out of South Africa, they're calling it Afrobeat.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's and I don't mind it, but I don't see it as being Afrobeat. I don't see it being as Afrobeat.
Yeah, that's a different,
you know,
genre for me.
Even what they play in the clubs now, to me, it's an insult to like Fela and Tony Allen and these guys who actually made Afrobeat.
Yeah.
But this is the evolution of music in all genres, I guess.
Yeah.
Where it's just changed, you know, because they're using computers.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not the same. Some people can make, you know, computers and stuff, but I think it should be, if you have the ability to do it, it should be a combination of live and the computers, because obviously you need the computers.
Yeah.
But to just, you know, lay down tracks.
And there's no innovation in the music either. They're all following the same recipe that the one hit has, with the same patterns and the same chords, because they want to maintain that, you know, that acceptability of the audience, so no one's breaking out of that.
Well, that's why like Louis and Josh can stand out, because they're not doing that.
Yeah.
And that's how they've always been. They've always been ahead of the curve. Or Morales.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, Morales still makes amazing music. You know, he gets mad when people steal from him, but he's been stealing his own career. You know, but everybody steals. You know what I mean? There's only 7 notes.
Yeah.
You know, they repeat.
Yeah.
You know, what is it, 7 times, something like that? But you gotta really think about it. It's amazing that we have all this different music still coming out. And if you start going into like guys like Miles Davis and them kind of guys who,
exactly,
if you listen to them, or even Ray Charles, you listen to them and it's like, oh
yeah,
you know, because like I'll listen to like Miles Davis and try to separate what each person is doing, because he would only have like 4 guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, exactly.
And I would listen to like the drummer.
Yeah. They all have their solos to get up there. Yep.
Yeah, and it's how did they write that stuff?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, he wrote it.
Yeah. A lot of it is just improvisation. It's on the spot. That's the one thing I really love about jazz, is it gives the musician the freedom to say, we wrote this, but you can blow it off. You can do this, and the other guy is smart enough to follow that and put his own spin.
They're real musicians.
Exactly.
You know, I love salsa bands. I would go to Gonzalez's house like every week. And a different salsa band every week, because they're playing music.
Yep.
They're playing music. And when I was young, I didn't like salsa or Spanish music because I thought it all sounded the same. You know, because it's like anything else. It's like rock music. I didn't like rock music. I was like, because you're not growing up on it. My dad made me play it. I went away to that school in Massachusetts. But, you know, I think there was like 50 black people that went to that school. And so there were no black stations. And so you had to listen to rock.
Yep.
And so I'm like, I wound up liking rock. I wound up liking Led, The Who, Jake Giles, all that stuff that was out back in like 80, 82, 83. You know, and again, that kind of stuff is missing, because the Wild Pitch parties, we used to play all that stuff. You know, Cashmere. You know, all that stuff apart. You would never hear anybody. Maybe at Body and Soul, maybe Danny Crivet will pull something out here and there.
Exactly.
You never know what Francois. To me, Francois and amazing. Those Cielo parties were amazing to me.
Yeah.
You never knew what he was gonna play.
Yeah, which route he was gonna take you. But that's interesting that you say, because if we could look back into history, like the Loft, like the Garage, Larry had his days where he would blow your mind with something. Like, he introduced, whether it became, you know, Stand on the Word or, you know, Magnificent Seven. These are groups that were not off, you know, they were off, they were new, they were beginning. And the same thing with the loft parties is they took chances on opening up your minds musically. And to me, is if we had that as a blueprint to follow, well, we just died off. We became this very mechanical, you know, only one sound.
Amazing documentary about the black background singers.
No, I don't think I've seen that.
It came out in 2013, I believe 2013. You know, then you had the 80s, which was amazing, you know, pretty amazing too, because that's when the music, you know, by 84 was electronic.
Yeah.
83 actually, a lot of electronic music was out. The electro, and it was just amazing. Hip hop, you know, 90s, so many classic house records.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because by the time the 90s came, it went from just, because that's funny, it's back to that now, just using a drum machine, but you know, in the early stuff, it wasn't too musical. It was just messing around with samples and drum machines. Even though, and see, they don't get credit for it, Timmy and Boy.
Him live on the keys, absolutely,
They were making music, No one called it house music. They weren't calling that visual and all that stuff house music. Well, if it came out after they named, you know, the stuff house music, what would it have been called?
Right.
You know, even I never really, I liked the term for a little while, but then once it became everything is house music,
exactly.
then I didn't, you know, but I don't know, different times.
So where are you now musically, right? Because it goes back to my question. You've been through so much. You've heard a lot. I love your shows, what you do. You know, variety. You hit it. I mean, that's the perfect name because you go from R&B to soul to funk, and you bring it. And I know that sometimes that, you know, what we're playing now is kind of a reflection of what we would like to hear more, what we would like to see more in parties, but where has this changed? Do you feel that there's been an inner change with you musically to where you are and what your Twitch parties
I think
are?
that's just how I've always. My dad always had a variety of music. One day I'm gonna play. You know, he had I got about 2 crates. Is what he never really had a lot of records, but it was a lot of different kinds of records, and that's. You know, that's what I grew up on, listening to, you know, like Guava Jelly, or Otis Redding, or, you know, Los Indios, Tribal House.
Yeah.
Playing them.
Wow. Wow, so he was very diverse.
Calypso,
Wow.
And then at one point, he just stopped buying records. I think when rap music started, because he go, that ain't no music. You know, they all sound the same. It's all the same. So he just wasn't into it no more. But I remember going with him. I remember we were in Corvettes. Remember Corvettes? I don't know if you remember. They used to have the letter system for buying records, and Corvette's record department used to be packed. And the Dr. Buzzard album came out. It was '76. And Shay Shay LaFon was all over the radio. Everybody's buying this. My dad, you know, he said, "Oh, we'll pick this up." He hated it.
Oh wow!
Hated it. I don't know why, but he hated it. Sometimes some music doesn't resonate with you.
Of course.
Like, I don't know if you know Greg Turner, but he can't stand Diana Ross or Donna Summer. And this guy probably knows more music than anybody well, maybe not more than Estefano. Estefano probably knows more music than anyone I know, but you know Estefano, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, so that's how I was. And then once I started listening to Frankie Crocker, he was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, when he came back in '89 to BLS, you know, he was a legend before that. But when he came back, now there's house music. He had Bobby Condas on at 5 in the afternoon. He would start off with reggae, just like he would do at the Wild Pitch parties. He would start off with reggae, and then he would go into house music or classics. And this is at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It was never done before.
Yeah.
Frankie Crocker did that. But he was playing salsa, reggae, Frank Sinatra. Remember, he broke New York on the radio. Who would think that WBLS was gonna play a Frank Sinatra song?
Yeah.
So that's just how I've always been, just playing this. It's just music. That's what people understand. It's just music, so you should not be able to play it because it's a house club. It doesn't make any sense, you know.
Yeah.
And that again goes to too many DJs in a party. You got 5-6 DJs. You can't build the night. We don't build nights anymore. We're competing to see who can play the hottest song. When play 12 hours. When I went to Japan, I had the last party, I think it was in Sapporo. I had to play 12 hours. I brought a lot of, back then we were still playing records, so I brought a lot of compilation records because you know you couldn't take more than like 2 boxes of records without getting charged a crazy amount of money. And you had to stretch it out. You had to do it.
You had to program, right?
Yeah.
You had to learn what programming is.
I mean,
a lot of people know.
I don't know if I want to play 12 hours now because it hurts. But still, 6. Give me 6.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you have two DJs, you know, or give him, you know, 2 hours and then let the other guy play 2 hours and go play off each other.
Yeah.
But people wouldn't even know what to do then if you said let's play. You need to like do Body and Soul style.
Yeah, exactly.
They wouldn't really. They see it as a competition instead of
that's vibe of
flow. See, people. That's another thing people don't get.
Yep.
Or talk about is flow.
Yeah.
Because even if you are playing a variety of music, it still has to flow.
Yep.
You have to make it flow.
Yeah.
But again, these are things that people who just woke up and said, "I'm gonna buy 50 songs and be a DJ."
Yeah.
You know, they don't learn that.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of stuff can be natural talent, but you may be able to hit a baseball naturally, but that doesn't mean, you know, somebody can't teach you how to make you great.
Yeah.
Everybody has been taught by somebody. You know,
exactly. In one way or another, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We had so many great influences, whether it's at the clubs, at the radios, even at the record stores. You have guys giving you their feel of music. Hey, check this out. Oh yeah, I like that. Give me more, right?
Yep.
All of that is gone. Yeah, and so what's left up is this very, you know, carbon copy of I'm watching this guy do this and he's playing that, so I'm gonna do that and play that and raise my hand and lights on me. I'm the next big thing.
You see, that's the thing. They don't, like, again, we used to do parties, like say somebody's house party, and you'd be in the back room.
Nobody knew.
You're in the back room, which I wouldn't say that's necessarily how you should play, but that's how we used to play back then if that was the case, because there was no room in the living room or whatever the case was. You know, you fit all the records and everything in the back room. Yep. Because that's how you had to play. You had to play without seeing the crowd. Yeah, you come out, check it out, see how everything's going, but you know, what people wouldn't even consider that today.
Absolutely,
because they want to be seen.
Yeah, they want to be videoed.
Who's that guy? I forgot who it was I saw, but anyway, he would be behind this screen where you couldn't really see him. You would just see a silhouette. Green. But anyway, yeah, it's all changed. And again, because there's no education, and there's no professionalism.
Right. On the education part, we're all getting older. Louis, you know, everyone who's still doing the parties, Fossell, Crevitt. Once they're gone, right? Who is taking? How is the torch being passed down? With that education, with that music diversity platform that we can honestly say, yeah.
I think the attitude is, I don't need nobody to teach me. You know, like you said, because, and that's probably what it was too, because there's so many DJs that just play the same 30 records every time they play. They call it Dirty 30. That'll make somebody say, oh, I could do that.
Right.
You know, when we were doing Wild Pitch, Greg Day, you know, who's the original owner of Wild Pitch, he would go to vinyl and go through all the imports, and then he'd come over to my place. We'd be like, "Yo, these are the 4 records we're gonna break for the weekend," you know. And people don't even understand the concept of breaking records anymore.
Yep.
you don't understand the concept. You know, you have to make people want to like music, and how are you going to do that if you're playing Woman again?
Yeah.
You know, they play, you know, especially with classics, like there's thousands and thousands and thousands of records.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to hear Love Is a Message.
Yeah.
You know, unless it's some kind of, you know,
special version.
And it's been 100 of those.
Exactly. We've heard just about each one. And that's what frustrates me too, right? It's the fact that, you know, there is just tons of music, and music that at this age I'm still just beginning to find.
We can always, nobody has everything.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what I love learning. I mean, my station, the radio show that I do out of the UK, those guys have taught me a totally different view of music. The jazz fusion, the deep jazz, you know, all the stuff that never crossed over here. You know, even like the Japan, the jazz out there that never made it here. So you still have some, I'm still learning. I'm always learning. And I think that that's the one thing that I've actually, you know, just love about it, is that I'm growing musically. It's not that I want to have the biggest collection. It's just that this music is amazing, and it should be played, and it should be heard, and it should be shared.
Even new stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
Like I was playing, you know, a lot of that stuff last night, and people were texting me like, "What's this? Who's the artist?"
Yeah.
You know, there's even some stuff that Black Coffee has done that's not house music.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
amazing. Even Jihad did a, I can't remember the name of it, but he did this like down tempo 105 track that was almost had like a samba, like bossa nova.
Yes.
It's an amazing record. I mean, Jihad does some amazing music.
Yeah.
You know, but this was like,
you
know, something Josh would do.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, but nobody, I bet nobody, like even now, I can't remember the name of it, but I mean, I can find it if I go home, but I don't remember the name of it because it's not something people play. You know, if you were to play it and somebody asks, well, who is it? And I say Jihad, they're going to go, what?
Yeah.
Jihad.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. You're right. You expect that from a Josh, from a Louis, you know, where it's more acceptable. Now, why is that, right? Why does that name carry so much?
Well, I don't think they're still getting played. They just, you know, because Blaze and them always had a variety of stuff on their albums. You know, Basic Blaze. That's You know, that's an amazing album. What was the other one with How Deep Is Your Love? You know, so, but again, there's no. I don't want to say there's no market for it. It's just the DJs don't play it. And so, I mean, how many amazing down-tempo songs with huge club hits?
Absolutely.
Love to Love You, Baby.
Yeah.
Eminence Front.
Yeah.
So many down-tempo songs. You know, I don't. And they were huge club hits. Even the mid-tempo.
Absolutely.
I mean, no one's even playing like 115, 116.
Yeah, they go straight into
not
hard.
that they're making it. Yeah. Like, because again, you go on Track Source and it's like. Next.
Next. Yeah. I've given up so many times. I can only stand there for like 5 minutes. After that, I'm out.
Even Beatport, I used to go to Beatport a lot. It's just. Where's it's like the clubs. It's like where's the special stuff?
Exactly.
You know. So I wound up.
No, that's all right. I'll bring it
playing stuff like last night.
Yeah. You have to.
You know, because you gotta change. You gotta change it up. You can't just
stay the same.
Boom, and then the Afro stuff, you know, whatever they're calling it. Like, first of all, I don't know what they're singing.
Yeah.
You know,
the beat's the same.
The beat's the same.
Yeah.
It's like, and again, that's why people want to play it, because it's easy to mix.
Yep.
You go from one to the next.
Yep.
You know, I don't know. You know?
Now let me ask you this, Timmy. So you touched about education, you know, and you talked about how there's competition. Do you think that's ever going to go away? Do you think we'll ever reach a point where people can actually sit down and share and think of something differently?
Social media.
Yeah.
It's changed everything. And so look at me everywhere, and I don't see how it's going to go away. they keep talking about TikTok like it's different from Snapchat or anything else. You know, so they want to ban TikTok. So what? They have, you know, other things,
other platforms. Yeah.
And that's what it is now. It's literally, look at me.
Yeah.
That's all it is. You know. Even when we talk about TikTok or Snapchat, it's literally like women just posting pictures of themselves or showing them shaking their ass, and that's it.
Yeah.
And they'll get like 500,000 followers.
Yeah.
For doing nothing. They're literally doing nothing.
I know.
And so again, that's why, you know, and I can only speak for our scene, but that's what I see. You know. People just wanting to be seen. They want to have followers, and you know, but in the end, you can't fake it.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing parties and you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to get anyone to come back.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the bottom line.
Unless it's just a gimmick, like you say, because there's a lot of those out there too, right? Where there's clicks, and they want to be within those clicks, and they want to follow who they want to follow. I mean, I'll be honest. When you try to do something pure, you're up against so much more, right? Even me trying to do YouTube videos and stuff, you know, it's not. People think that you do a video or you have a party, you're gonna get 300-400 people. Those days are gone, right? Especially if your style is different and you don't have that following that, you know, wants to hear Afro House or your typical stuff, you've got so much more against you to try to entice.
That's why I like your party, because I know that the people there, they know what to expect. They know it might not be 1,000 people at the party or something like that. You know, they know what kind of music. I just see so many people in there. Like I would watch, you know, like the last party. I was just watching everybody, and I'm like, you know, these people appreciate music.
Yeah.
As opposed to, you know, going to the park where there's, you know, 1,500 people or whatever, 9,000 people down the street, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice to play for that, you know.
Do you hunger for that anymore, or not really? Are you satisfied where you are? What if you could do something?
I believe I'm satisfied. Like I don't have the desire to, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but it just seems like as the DJs have changed, so has the crowd.
Yeah,
and it's just not the same anymore. Because again, it's, you know, everybody's phone is out. You know, it's not about the music.
Yeah,
it's about gotta hurry up and get home and show the video somewhere.
Yeah,
or show the pictures somewhere.
Yeah,
you know. And I've just shied away from social media for the most, especially when it comes to like personal stuff.
Yeah, of course.
I've stopped posting personal stuff on social media now, you know. And I mean, I was caught up in it because it was new. Facebook was new. You're supposed to show people, supposed to, you know. Well, it evolved out of MySpace, but now I'm like, you know, they tracking, they telling you every time you hear somebody get in trouble, they're like, the Facebook page said this and that. You know, they watch everything. They actually, I believe Facebook has actually hired people to, like, you know, look for disinformation, you know, stuff like that. You know, wanting to play, it's cool. I think the last big thing I did was Linkin Park. Back in, I think it was 2018, the year before Timmy played. And I was actually sick the whole week. I had the flu or something. I was sick. I had COVID before it existed. And you know, it's just like it's not the same anymore. Yeah, you know. And so I'm selective for, like,
you've been very selective.
You know, where I would want to play for.
Exactly.
It's like,
why waste your good music?
And it's, see, that's the thing. I know it's not gonna happen. I know that they're not gonna call me to play those songs. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know that guy from the Bang Out or whatever. You know, whoever it is that does it. And all these other people, they're not gonna put me on. And that's fine, because I think I've done enough in this scene to be satisfied.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But don't you think that adds to the the topics that we spoke about, is not having someone in their roster that can at least give the audience that difference, right?
But see, the problem is the audience doesn't care.
They don't want it. They don't. They don't understand it. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't necessarily want to play for that crowd anymore. You know, because like we said, when we went to the garage, we knew we were going to hear at least 4 different new records that night. That we were like, what is that record? You run down the street to Vinyl Mania looking for that record. Yeah. You know, and when does that happen now?
Yeah.
When you go to a party and you're like, oh, what's that record? I gotta get that record.
Yeah.
No, you're not getting it because you're in Cloud 9 again.
Yeah.
You know, you already have it.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
But
so I'm glad that you're finally reached a point, and I think that's a big step to realize, right? I was having this conversation with my wife as well. Like, we reach a point where we're done with the chase. It's more about self-satisfaction now. It's about feeling totally comfortable. Like I always say, don't ever be afraid of, clearing up the dance floor. If you believe in the song,
play it again.
And it says it speaks to you, play it.
Because in the end, we're all humans.
Yeah.
And especially when they start messing around with the frequencies and stuff when they make the songs.
Yeah.
But what does a radio do?
Yeah.
Aside from, like, say, Frankie Crocker playing Whip Appeal 3 times in a row or something like that, they still play in the same, like, Z100.
Formats.
Play that damn, what's that chick's name? Olivia Rodrigo. Like 4 or 5 times an hour. Because I'm always going to be a radio guy. That was always my thing, radio. And so I listen to different stations. But Z100, it's like, come on. How much are they paying you to like, push this girl? She's like the angriest singer in the world.
Wow.
You know what I'm talking about? Olivia Grande?
No. Not Ariana Grande.
I mean, Olivia Rodrigo.
Oh, yeah, no.
I mean, I keep my ear to all of that stuff, because you never know if the guy down the street, was like 1,000 feet away, 1,000 yards away from me, might say, here, you got $300 to play for 3 hours?
Oh, right.
I'll do that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Play for the college kids and play some hip-hop. I stay up on all the hip-hop, you know, and stuff. Because you just never know. And some of it isn't bad. You know, plus I always liked hip-hop. Yeah. You know, I'm from the Bronx. You know, but...
do you think we need young blood, talking about college kids, do you think we need to reach out to them and kind of get them to be a part? Because that's where we started.
Well, not really. You didn't really go and do things that your parents did.
No. But I'm just saying, like, try to tap into the college kids. Let them know that these events are happening, because we're all dying out. No one's our age is not going out anymore as often. You can't consistently go out at our age to support all of these
I feel
events.
It's almost like a chipmunk circuit right now.
Okay.
You know, it's just underground. You know, radio has no interest in it.
Yeah.
That's the only real way you're gonna get kids into it.
I see.
When John Robinson was on the radio doing the midday mix, the whole city was listening to that show at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
No matter where you went, you go into a diner, coming somewhere, you heard John Robinson on the radio, and that's why all those songs are wedding songs to this day. Follow Me, Percolator, all that, Brighter Days, all that stuff. They still play at black weddings, because he was the one that broke all that stuff on the radio. You know.
Yeah.
Plastic Dreams, all that stuff, you know. But once it's not on the radio anymore,
where you gonna go? Where you gonna hear it?
You're not gonna get, because see, if you're a kid, why would you be wanting to go to a party where you see like oxygen tanks, gray hair?
I see what you're saying. Canes.
I literally saw oxygen tank at a party.
Wow.
You know, you wouldn't go back. Why? That's not what because in the end, guys and girls are looking for guys and girls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we used to love the music, but I think firsthand was trying to find girls.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, but there might be. I think I'm like to be hopeful and say there might be a few people that might understand, that might be willing. Not the majority.
But it's not enough.
There's not enough
to make a difference.
Exactly.
You know, and again, who's going to educate them?
Yeah.
You know, because you got to understand, just like the Motown sound when we were growing up sounded dated, house music sounds dated to them.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh, that's that music my parents used to listen to.
It's true.
You know, so we don't really do what our parents did.
Yeah. You want to
appreciate it, because like I said, you know, I dug Hang On Sloopy, that my dad used to play.
Absolutely.
You know, all the reggae stuff he used to play. But once I got into the, you know, doing DJing, I wasn't playing, you know, none of those songs.
Yeah.
You know,
as far as the separation, the competition, you know, do you feel that there's racism plays a part in this whole aspect of music?
As far
DJing?
as what,
like I've noticed that sometimes, or you know, you could say that Danny Krebit has his own crowd, right? Timmy Richardson has his own crowd. Don't want to use the wrong words, but do you think that that creates a separation of a Spanish DJ playing for a black crowd and vice versa, where they may feel that, does this guy really know what he's playing for us?
The only place, in my experience, and I didn't notice this until I started hanging out in Jersey, say 2004 or so, there's a separation in Jersey. There's light parties and there's dark parties. You know what I mean? When you went to Elevation, you didn't see a lot of light people in there. You know, and I love that place. I love those guys. But Juan Cardovi might be the opposite with his parties.
Well, that's where I'm getting at.
Cuban Club, and we used to do Cuban Club.
Yeah, of course.
Doing all I mean, you know, Juan was doing amazing parties.
Yeah.
But it was different.
Yeah. I just feel that you might hit it right on. I feel that there's been that kind of understanding that this guy's Spanish. I'd rather get someone that, you know, can play for our crowd. When
I mean, again, I don't know if that's what they said. I just know what.
But I see it too.
What I saw.
I see it. I noticed too. Absolutely.
When I started hanging out in Jersey, I'm like, you know, it's like the Spanish and the white people go here, and then the black people go here,
exactly,
and then that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, you might get a little.
Yeah, you might filter
here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a mixed crowd, you know. And you know, I was wondering why that was.
And you didn't see that as much in New York.
I didn't see that in New York.
Okay.
Nope.
Wow.
I mean, you know, you had like a club like say Bentley's. Which was a black-owned club. But I don't think I really saw that. Most of the places I went to, it was mixed. It was a mixed crowd. You know, and I was going to like Roxy, Roseland, Underground. They too is the internet radio stuff, and so naturally, once you know we had Deep House page, we wanted to go live, and we did. But the bandwidth was so much back then, like an hour. And it was like we ran out of bandwidth. Right. So we gave that up, and then I just wound up. Then next thing you know, you have all these, video platforms. What was that? It was one, I can't remember the name, but everybody was going Stick Cam, I think it was.
I'm new to this game, so I'm not sure what was before me.
No, this
was before.
This is like maybe, I don't know, not even 20 years ago. But anyway, there were all these, places you could play, and then the big dogs came along, like, Twitch and YouTube. And so again, those guys had to like bow down. It's like kind of like when they open up a shop right somewhere. So now the little bodega guy might have to close because everybody's going, you know, shop right.
What's your take on the whole, you know, video, the whole DMAC, the whole copyright situation when you're playing afterwards, muting you? What's your whole take on this?
I don't, you know, I don't think, I think, well, first of all, it's a joke, because all they're really doing is muting it afterwards. Let's let us play the music, you know, because we can't just play copyright-free music. Most of it isn't any good,
right?
You know, or it's, you know, top 40 or something like that. So I don't know if that's ever gonna see. The thing with Twitch, it was never for DJs,
right?
It was for gamers.
Yep.
Who, I guess the gaming music, the music that's on, you know, I guess that's copyright free. I don't understand that whole, like some music is copyright free and other music you can't play it.
Right.
You know, like say if you were to put a reel on Instagram, they always gotta have a choice of music to play, which obviously must be legal to play, otherwise it wouldn't be able to provide it.
Exactly.
So why is Hypnotized by Biggie allowed, but, you know, Now That We Found Love by Third World might not be?
Right.
Like last night's show was like, I thought they weren't gonna be muting stuff. They muted like most of that show. The only time it doesn't really get muted is when you're playing like underground house music. You see like two little red lines. The rest of it they allow it.
On your video you're talking about, right? On the playback that they mute.
Yeah, on the what they call the VOD. The next, you know, the video that comes. I mean, I could record the video. I mean, it's gonna be like an 8 gig file.
You just let it go.
I'll record the music. That's all I really do. I record the music, but, you know, I like having stuff for the car. It's on the radio.
Exactly.
Actually, CBS isn't bad now. I always used to wonder that when I was a little kid. Like, CBS can be playing when I'm like 50 years old. Next thing you know, I'm hearing "Hey Y'all."
Exactly.
My Outkast on CBS.
Oh God.
You know, they used to play Elvis, now they're playing Outkast.
Do you have any choice words or anything you would like to say to any aspiring DJ, anyone who's really...
Learn the craft. Find somebody to actually learn the craft from, or do your research. Because again, I won't say that somebody sat me down and said, this is how you do this or that. But I might have been able to watch people do stuff. Like I was blessed to be in SOS Record Pool in the 80s where Chet Nunez was a member, Breakbeat Lou was a member. And so I was able to watch them chop up the you know, reel to reel and do their edits and stuff. You know,
that's an art on itself.
And then go home and then, you know, I taught myself to do what they were doing, but only because I was watching them. You know, I went through trials and errors and stuff like that, but you have to be able to have mentors. There's no mentors. Everybody just wakes up and says, I'm gonna be a DJ, you know? And a lot of them are in their 50s when they do it. Some of them in their 60s. You know, like to me, it should be like, that would be like, maybe you could do it, but waking up and saying, you know, I want to be a piano player, and you're like 60 years old, you know? I mean, yeah, you can, but I mean, by that point, you know, you're like arthritic. You know, like, you know, so.
But there's resources out there, Timmy, right? There's stuff, thank you for the internet and books, there's stuff that people can use as reference, but they don't want to.
That's the whole thing. There's nothing... Any information you need on anything is out there in the universe now. It's not hard to find. You don't have to go to the library. You can just go onto your phone. But what do most people use their phone for? Taking pictures of themselves. You know, that's what they do. The information is so much information you can find. But for like if somebody, like say somebody who you know didn't grow up with a DJ. They have to, you know, there should be somebody for them to look up to and say, you know, hey. Because I think the Martinez brothers also have Victor Rosado kind of mentoring them. But you mentioned Chris Flowers, he's an amazing DJ. But why you don't see him at the festivals.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause the first night I heard him, I'm like, who's this guy? You know?
Yeah, Chris is a wealth of knowledge. He's got the music. He did a lot of parties in Elizabeth or so. But I think, you know, you sometimes also become choice because of that. Because you know that you don't fit the bill with everybody else, right? So that leaves you no choice for you, but for you to create your own, which is what I do, right? It's like you said, I know that, yeah, you know, maybe they have their heart set on something, and something that I experienced is where they felt that what I was introducing was not New Jersey, was New York, that, you know, the sound didn't belong here, that they wanted to just, they want the same sound being played.
That Jersey sound.
And, you know, it's an unfortunate reality that comes, and I think that that's what discourages a lot of people that are pure, that at heart know the music, that want to play, is the fact that now you have to invest and create your own parties, because that's what it takes. That's
so that kind of doesn't make sense, because suppose you get booked in Boston, so you're supposed to play like Boston?
Well, I guess at that point they will know why they're hiring, right? They'll know what Chris is all about. They'll know what you're about, what I'm about, right? So I think that the party that's inviting you may not be what Roselle's doing to that level, right? Because their expectations is, you know, Jihad to come in and play, to bring the people, to play that sound, and then, you know, everybody else.
Each DJ should be different. And
I agree.
You're supposed to have, you know, your own sound. Anybody can play those same songs.
Yeah. Bless you.
Thank you. Anyone could. At this point, it's almost like we're just going to hit jukeboxes.
Yeah.
Because, you know, again, it's just not special to me. And so therefore, I am very, very selective.
Yeah, I know.
With where I go. Mm-hmm. You know. I'm always loved Timmy, but when I was in Brooklyn, I could get up 8 in the morning to hear him. But just, you know, I gotta pay like $35 in tolls, drive there in the traffic, because there's always traffic on the expressway. I just don't have any desire to do that. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Yeah.
What can I do?
Well, you know, I think we've had some great stuff here, Timmy. Again, I want to thank you for taking the time and just, you know, catching up.
Yeah, man.
Saying a few things, and I hope that, you know, all you viewers out there like the content. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your time, and this is just a casual catch-up with someone that I admired.